Give us an
and
idea.
the ones
there.
that work are right there in the Galveston County Daily News.
How about that? You know, and this is interesting. I'm holding the Sunday section in my hand, and one of the things that stands out, it says Texas' oldest newspaper, established in 1842.
That's right, 1842, first newspaper in the state of Texas that also had the first telephone in the state of Texas that was the publisher of the Daily News.
The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you for joining us today. It is show number 491. On our way to show number 500. That's right, we're excited about that, and we're thankful that you're listening here today. As always, go to stewart.com/radio. That's where you can see and hear the shows simply by going to stewart.com/radio. And today you're going to want to see the show because we have thousands of people in the studio. So let's get down to business right now as we welcome David Sanders. He is with William David Homes. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, David, let's tell people, first of all, you have a very successful home building business. Let's tell people about William David Homes.
Well, we build custom homes in the greater Houston area, all the suburbs. You can think of the big ones, Cane Island, Chambers Creek we've got coming up, all of Northwest Houston, Town Lake, Willow Creek Ranch, several of the master plan communities.
Well, the homes, and they're all custom homes?
Yes.
So you're going to build. Let's tell people a little bit about the process, because I know a lot of people have had the experience of building their own home. In fact, we talk about the dream of home ownership. The bigger dream is building it exactly the way you want it with a builder like yourself. Let's tell people a little bit about the process.
So with this process, it's definitely a lot more fluid than your traditional home buying process. We allow them to come in, spend time with the architect, design anything from scratch that'll fit on the lot. So we go through probably a 4 to 6 month design process where we design floor plans, interior selections, exterior selections, and then from there we go into construction.
As far as the size, is there an average size home you're building and or an average price point for your homes?
Our average size is around 6,000 square feet, anywhere from 1.8 to 2 million on average.
So let's take an area of town that might be further out. How far have you gone?
We're as far out. Currently, we're getting ready to start in Houston Oaks Country Club, which is an exclusive private country club here in Houston. And so that's out in the Hockley area.
So it's a little bit further out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the reason I ask that is I'm thinking the further out you go, $2 million might go even a little bit. I get a better value as I spend $2 million or more home and or more land.
You're going to get more land, really. Your price for construction is about the same, but your land is definitely going to go up. So I'd say with that price point, you're in a half acre to anywhere from 2 acres, depending on how far out.
Sounds pretty nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's tell people, as far as company distinctions for your company, William David Homes, versus the way maybe some other companies work, let's tell people about your distinctions.
I think just our process, our collaborative process with our architects and designers. We won multiple PRISM awards, and so that's something we focus a lot on, is really not just the functionality and how that client wants to live in their home, but making sure that it's something pretty special and unique.
As far as the marketplace right now, what's the demand like for homes that are custom in the dollar range that you're mentioning, million plus homes? What's it like right now?
I think the $1 million to $1.5 million is a little slower due to interest rates, but that when we get to the $2 million mark, most of our clients aren't worried about interest rates. 50% we're paying cash or 25% down, those kind of things. So,
as far as the people that are buying these homes, How many have you seen, let's say, just as a cross-section in the last 10 or 20 homes you've built? How many, if any, are from outside of the state of Texas?
We've probably, say out of 20 homes, 3.
And how did they find out about your company, by the way?
Usually they come to the community that they want to live in, and they see our signs in the yard, and then they research us that way.
And of all the things you could be doing, how did you get into the custom home building? I'm sure there was a little bit of a journey there for you to be right now in this prestigious home building company and making the beautiful homes. How did you find your way here?
I grew up working actually in the restaurant industry and decided I didn't want to be in the restaurant industry. After college, I have a degree in finance, and so I landed a job at Trendmaker Homes before they were bought out. So that was early 2000s, and decided in 2008-9 when the economy went down, I was going to go out and start doing renovations. And I did commercial and residential renovations, basically anything I could get my hands on to feed the family. And at that time, I also took a part-time job with my church and was on the executive team there. And that really just ignited my passion for creating a company that was big enough and something that we could give back to our community. So
I would think there's a great satisfaction also of starting with a consultation and laying out plans and then going to work, and then in X amount of time, here's this beautiful home, and the people are walking into it and sharing their idea. That's got to be a blast.
That's part of the fun process, is creating a concept and building a team that we are constantly building our team and growing, trying to improve, and building a team that can execute somebody's dream and vision and be, like I said earlier, that collaborative kind of process and come together. And it's one of the last things I feel like that are still made by so many different people, individual, imperfect people. We're coming together and putting this thing together and moving a family in there.
As far as you look ahead, here we are finishing up the year pretty soon, and then you're planning for next year. What do you see when you finish out the year, and especially what are you looking ahead for 2024?
So for us, for 2024, we're actually creating we've started it this year. We're creating a semi-custom product. So we're trying to get into that price point between $800,000 and $1.5 million. And with that product, we are continuing to purchase lot positions in more master plan communities. And so we're excited about that. We're selling against some of the bigger names that have been around for years, and we're excited about the growth opportunity there and be able to serve more families.
And I would also think, as far as at this point in time, 2023, from an energy efficient standpoint, from when you started, when did your company start, by the way?
We started in 2012.
So from that point till now, what are some of the changes that you've seen and the things that you're incorporating now into the homes from a energy efficiency standpoint, or just even other bells and whistles that people want?
I think for us, we came out the gates trying to really capture a lot of the high-end stuff, the foam insulation, the higher-end windows. So we're an Anderson builder partner, so we use an Anderson window. We use tankless water heaters, all LED lighting, so the variable speed HVAC. So we get it as tight as we can as far as energy goes.
Yeah, I think you're reading my mind. I was going to ask you about spray. Are you talking about the spray foam insulation?
Oh, correct.
That's incredible stuff.
Basically creates an igloo out of your home.
You're living in a thermos, and that's one of my dreams that hopefully I'll be
you have
able
to in Houston, yeah.
Because I was in a home, no lie, 2 weeks ago in one of the hottest afternoons. It must have been 102, and I walked into this home, and I was in the attic with the realtor, and we weren't sweating. I said, "Hey, we're in the attic. Can you believe it?" And it was a result of that spray foam insulation. I had no idea it was so powerfully effective.
Yes, it'll keep those attics about 85 degrees.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
So these homes that you're building, I think having that a home, especially when you're talking about the size of the home too, to have that powerful feature, that's incredible.
Yeah. And we're seeing some neat technologies too. We just finished a house out in Cane Island that is the second largest Tesla roof to be installed in the nation. It's got 5 Tesla battery backups, so the entire home is ran off of batteries.
That's pretty incredible. Let's tell people, David, we're talking with David Sanders. His company is William David Homes. David, let's tell people your website so people could see some of the things you're doing and reach out to you as well.
It's pretty simple. It's williamdavidhomes.com, and our office phone number is 281-256-8009.
williamdavidhomes.com. David, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know about your company, or something maybe I didn't ask you that you want them to know about?
Just that we are continuing to look at ways to serve the greater Houston area, and so be looking for us in multiple communities that are coming online in 2024. I can't talk about some of them yet because they haven't hit the press, but we've got some exciting projects coming up, and we look forward to being a part of those communities.
And again, for someone that's interested in a custom home, from the time, let's say I call you up and say, David, I want to build a home to be built here. I've got the land maybe. How long would it take to have an actual home?
You're probably in a 6,000 square foot house. You're talking about 18 months. That's design and build.
Once again, the website is williamdavidhomes.com. David, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com, or call 866-798-2827.
As we continue, let's welcome Jamie Wolf. His company is First United. Jamie, welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me, Bill.
Well, here you are. You're in the mortgage business. Let's tell people how many years you've been in the mortgage business and a little bit of the history of your stay in this wonderful world of money.
Sure. I've been in the business for 24 years. Worked as a mortgage broker, worked for banks, worked as a correspondent lender the majority of my career, and now I'm back at a bank again. Was drawn into the business a long time ago. My family's been in real estate in Houston for about 100 years, and my grandfather, my father, and started off my career in advertising and figured out that I needed to do something that was more in line with what the family was doing, and went into the financial end of things.
That's right. Your name works hand in hand in real estate in Houston. And as we talk to mortgage people, whether it's on the show or in other places, one of the things I've never asked them is, what do you all do on a day-to-day basis? What's the day in the life of Jamie Wolf, mortgage extraordinaire?
Well, it's different for every mortgage loan officer, actually, but it's all about time management, actually, because as people that know us know, we're salesmen first, and it's our job to bring in business to a mortgage company. So we have to block off part of our day for contacting the people that we do business with, previous clients, real estate agents, other referral sources, and then we have to pay attention to the loans that we are working on, the ones that are in process to close. So we do, it's kind of a reactive business. We try to be proactive. We fall into reactivity a lot. But back into proactivity as soon as we can. So it's no day is ever the same. I can say that much.
It kind of makes it interesting and fun too, I'm imagining.
Yes, it is fun.
Well, give us an idea in these 24 or so years of some of the changes that might be obvious or not so obvious that you've seen.
Over the 24 years. Okay, well.
In about 2 minutes.
A lot of changes. Well, I mean, when I entered the business, it was quite easy, actually. It was back in 1999, and that was the easy money era. So most of my learning occurred once 2008 hit. And I'd learned a lot. I had great mentors, but at that time, you had to go from becoming a salesperson strictly to being a salesperson, a processor, an underwriter. You had to have knowledge of the business and what was expected on every single loan. So there was a learning curve right in the middle of my career that I embraced so I could be better at my job. As things changed, and when I entered the business, I was refinancing people out of double digits, high single rates into the 5s, 6s, and they were overjoyed, right? And here we are today with people that are having interest rates in the high 6s, low 7s that are having a hard time dealing with it. So a lot of it's about just perspective and how long they've been paying attention to the business, how long they've been homeowners. Like my parents would say, you didn't live through the 80s with double-digit rates and all kinds of different tricks to try to finance a home just to make it affordable. It's an interesting time, very interesting time. But what happened with COVID, of course, we saw the market kind of just crash pretty much, and interest rates crash, go very, very low, and a lot of people jump into the business, the business of buying, that normally wouldn't actually, and people making decisions about buying homes. And then all of a sudden in 2022, we saw rates jump double almost overnight. So the perception of that threw a lot of people off. I think some people have been scared out of the market, but they really shouldn't be. It's still a great time to buy. And like we say in our business, I mean, you buy a house and you date the rate, right? It's a common saying in our business because more than likely you'll have a chance to refinance that loan. The house I'm in now, I've refinanced 5 times in the last 15 years.
Well, and you mentioned about as far as in the beginning and the ease of the business at that time. One of the things that struck me right away is that here we are with more technology than ever at this point in time, 2023. How has the technology made it any easier, or are there just more passwords and stuff? I mean, every time
a lot more passwords.
Right.
I can say that. I would say that when fintech mortgage companies, financial technology mortgage companies, have evolved into our business and have made heavy investment into technology, now into artificial intelligence too, and they do advertise. You've seen the advertisements, and I won't name the companies that say you'll be approved in 30 minutes for your loan or 1 day for your loan, when those of us that are in the business know that isn't true for most people. It works for a sliver of the population. I mean, if you're a standard buyer and you have one account that's easily documentable through electronic means, and same thing with your employment, you can be approved very quickly. But the reality is that people's lives and their finances are quite complex in most situations, and it takes somebody an ear to hear them out, to tell their story, to get their loan approved, right? So technology does make things easier for a lot of people. It does, for people in business a long time, sometimes it could be a hindrance to getting their jobs done, because a lot is required when it comes to using that technology. Overall, it's a good development. It has been. So.
Well, as far as I'm told that you have a crystal ball, but as you look at it or bring it out, as we look at the rest of the year, it is a very interesting time for mortgages and mortgage rates. Where are they going? But here for the end of the year, what do you see? And then what do you see or forecast as you talk with your associates at your company? What do you see for, say, 2024? What are you all planning for?
I mean, you joke about it, and I actually do have a crystal ball at home, a real crystal ball that my grandfather gave me. And he did, when he gave it to me, he told me that it does not work.
It's good.
It's for looks only, right?
It doesn't work, but you're going to wish it did.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people out there that will make predictions, a lot of paid services that loan officers use, that they'll hang on every single word about what's going to happen in the market. Nobody knows for sure.
Right?
There are just too many factors, geopolitics, the economy moving up and down, decisions that the Federal Reserve makes. There's just so much that goes into it to try to predict what's going to happen. What we have to look at is the past, what's happened, and patterns, right? Obviously, I think a lot of us that have been in the business a long time saw those low interest rates in the 2s and 3s and immediately said, okay, let's get busy because these rates are going up. And when they do, it's going to be a shock to the system. People are going to retract from the home market a little bit and then have to ease back into it. I think interest rates have been sustained, I'd say anywhere between 7 and 8% for quite a while now. There are still buyers in the market that are active, and they're smart to be doing that because home values have come down a little bit. I think that mortgage interest rates will probably stay elevated for a while, but you'll see borrowers getting into the mode of wanting to buy, doing their research, doing their diligence. And then, like I said, I don't use paid services to determine what's going to happen. I watch the market every day, look for certain reports that come out, and try to make my own judgments. But then, like Stewart Title's Ted Jones, he's one person that I listen to. because he gives a pretty unfiltered approach to what he thinks is going to happen, compares it to the Mortgage Bankers Association's estimations. I think rates will probably stay elevated through the end of the year. I think their predictions, if you were going to combine them into one result, looks at maybe quarter two of next year interest rates hopefully getting down in the low 6s to high 5s. And then hopefully when rates get in the mid 5 range and are sustained in that range, you'll see a lot of buyers come off the fence and back into the market because they can bear a rate at 5.5%, and they should be able to, hopefully.
Well, as you mentioned the number 5%, I was thinking the word explosion could take place because while the 2%-ish time was not around too long, but it was around long enough for people to think it should be that way all the time.
That's right.
And 2 and 5 is not that far apart, so
it really isn't.
Real estate explosion could happen.
The majority
right
of my career, the interest rates have been between 4 and 5.5%, I would say, if I was going to look at the whole 24 years.
And one of the things to be successful in anything is to be a part of the community, certainly in the real estate profession, professionals like you and others in this world. They give back to the community and they do things. Let's tell people some of the things that you are doing in that regard.
Well, I've always been involved in educating my buyers individually. I spend an inordinate amount of time with each one compared to what maybe some other loan officers do. I know, it just depends on how you run your day. I can find myself talking to somebody for 2 or 3 hours to try to educate them, all in one sitting, and they will listen. And I enjoy getting people educated about what they're going to do because most of the time it's the biggest financial decision they're going to make in their life. And it can be scary for some people. So it's to get them at ease with the numbers in their comfort zone. So I think that is a form of giving back. And then also I've educated real estate companies. I go to many real estate companies and speak to them and hold classes, talk to them about the right way to do things with a mortgage company, the way to operate with your clients, what to say, what not to promise. Don't be promising people that they're going to refinance. Nobody knows for sure, right? And it's always an individual situation. And then I've been involved with the Houston Mortgage Bankers Association for the last 5 years. I was vice president and president for a year. Now I'm in my ex-presidency. So we give back to the community at large, have events on a monthly basis, and educate our own constituency. So.
And Jamie, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know?
Well, I would say if you are a buyer right now, do your diligence, your credit diligence. A lot of people will take a score off of a bank website and say I'm good to go. You can get your free credit reports at annualcreditreport.com once a year. Take a look at what's there, see if it's accurate. Do that well in advance of buying, and then go with a loan officer that you're comfortable with that's going to do the work. It's going to do the diligence, and be prepared and comfortable before you step into any home.
And if someone wants to reach out to you, Jamie Wolf, what should they do?
The best way to reach me at all times is my mobile number, 281-543-5488. Text or call anytime.
The number again is?
281-543-5488.
Thank you so much, Jamie Wolf.
All right. Thank you for having me.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
All right, you hear the island music. We are on our way to the wonderful island of Galveston. Here with us today, one of our Galveston guests is David Bowers. He's with Better Homes Gary Green. David, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
Well, here you are. You made it all the way from the island of Galveston.
Yeah, we got off the causeway. Yeah,
and it's still okay.
It's still okay. Pelicans are still flying around down there.
That's what we love about that, the island feel. So let's tell people about your company and what you're doing there in real estate in Galveston, David.
Well, Bill, I concentrate on older houses. So houses, gosh, from the 1830s to about 1950. that covers a lot of really cool architectural styles. And in fact, that's why I moved to Galveston, is to live in an old house. I'm also a licensed attorney. I was a commercial closer for Stewart Title and officed in their downtown building, the 47th floor of a skyscraper. And I so wanted to live in an old house that I slid from the title business to the brokerage business in 1989.
And this is all in the Galveston area?
This is all on the old historic areas of Galveston.
Well, you said something about, was it 1835? I didn't know that there were homes built that. That's a long time ago.
The Menard House, which is
Right.
the oldest house in Galveston, that was built 1835. Last year closed on a house that was hit by a cannonball in the Battle of Galveston, 1863.
That's
I
so
sold two
fascinating.
houses that were hit by cannonballs in that battle.
That was on the seller's disclosure.
Oh,
Or not. We don't want to say, but give us a quick idea on a home that's that old, even 1900s. On a home that's that old, David, how have they updated it to have air conditioning and to have it still stand and be efficient in some way?
well, that's why inspections are so keen on any property. I don't care if it's a new property. Inspections are very keen that you have a competent inspector that knows Galveston properties. Many of these houses, in fact, all the houses that are pre-1920, the grade's been raised. When they raised the grade and built that seawall, all these houses were also raised.
Fascinating.
It is very fascinating, and 99% of them are still as level as they were when they were originally built. So it is fascinating. But like any house in Galveston, you want to make sure the roof has a proper certification. You want to check flood insurance, and you always do a termite check. Those are the three biggies on any house in Galveston.
Sounds good to me. How is the market right now in Galveston? You selling homes?
It's very good.
Awesome.
And the mortgage guy that was just on, rates are at 7 7/8.
Not a big deal, is it?
It wasn't to this one couple that I was just telling Harriet, who's going to be on shortly, that I received in a contract with Dana this morning. The house was listed Friday evening at 6:30. The couple put the offer down full price
There you go.
on that house, and and this is the fourth house that they've gotten in the contract because the other three flunked their inspections.
Very interesting. Now, as far as when you see buyers coming to Galveston, how many are outside of Texas? You seen any people coming from other states, maybe?
No, surprisingly not. Everybody says California is coming to Galveston. Sorry, I'm not seeing. I'm just a lot of people in Texas. A lot of Galvestonians moving around from larger house to smaller house, or smaller house to an older house.
That makes sense. So as far as when you look ahead, here we are. We're at the end of the year almost. You look ahead to 2024. There at your company, Gary Green, Better Homes. Are you forecasting certain things, or you think it's going to be strong again?
There will be houses for sale in 2024.
See, there is where the crystal ball works. Your crystal ball is on top of it right there. There will be
to be on top of it is to properly price your house. And like I tell all my sellers, it really pays to have a pre-listing inspection of your house.
That's a good idea.
Very good.
Well, before we bring on John, what's your final word here for this segment, David?
Come to Galveston. It's a great place to live. If you've ever wanted to live someplace where you can walk to work, since 1989, I've been walking to work 4 blocks away from where I live. And I love Galveston. I even put my house on the back of my business card.
Right
My
there.
1899 Victorian home.
Another reason to tune into Stewart.com/radio. David Bowers. David, let's tell people they want to know about historic homes or any other homes in Galveston. Let's tell them how they can reach you.
David at davidbowers.com. David at davidbowers.com.
And the phone is?
409-763-2800.
Sounds like you said 409-763-2800. That's a real Galveston area code, isn't it, David?
It's a phone
Or is
number
it-
that came from my corner store I bought, and
How about that?
they let me keep the original number.
All right, so here we are. As I have a copy of the Galveston Daily News, John Nagy is here. And John, let's tell people your role at the Galveston Daily News.
I work with all realtors, mortgage companies, title companies, anything to do with the home at the Daily News, and handle their marketing and digital advertising.
So one of the great things about the Galveston Daily News is you're working hand in hand in the real estate world. You know what's going on.
Absolutely. Know every realtor there is.
Is that right? How many? I wonder how many. Yeah, we know that there's somewhere about 40,000 realtors in the Houston Association of Realtors. I wonder how many are in Galveston. I never got that number. Do you
Well,
have
I
a
could
feel?
answer how many work.
Okay, let's do. That's even better yet. That's more accurate. Give us an
And the
idea
ones
there.
that work are right there in the Galveston County Daily News.
How about that? You know, and this is interesting. I'm holding the Sunday section in my hand, and one of the things that stands out, it says Texas' oldest newspaper, established in 1842.
That's right, 1842, first newspaper in the state of Texas that also had the first telephone in the state of Texas that was the publisher of the Daily News.
So not only did they have homes in 1842, but they had machines cranking out a bunch of newspapers.
That's right.
You know, if we could go back and look in time, wouldn't that be interesting?
It would be. Yes.
Well, let's tell people about your newspaper. Here we have a real estate section here, but again, it's the Galveston Daily News. You've been with the company. You're hand in hand with the community. But give people an idea of some of the distinctions. I would think that just because of the uniqueness of Galveston, and it's interesting to see newspapers all from different cities, but I would think the uniqueness of the Galveston newspaper, it's got to be fun. And so you bring forth things that are very interesting.
It is fun. We're a small community. A lot of people say that the larger newspapers are going away, but community newspapers, people want the newspaper to see where their kids are doing in ball, what community events are going on, what Stewart Title is sponsoring. So it is important to have this community newspaper on the island.
And the other thing I'll tell people, on your card, there's actually, your role is the real estate account executive.
That's what I do.
So there's a special role as far as
Yes.
real estate goes.
Every weekend, there's a real estate section in the paper that publishes on Friday and on the weekend where realtors alike advertise their open houses.
There's Stewart Title right
There's Stewart
there.
Title at the top, and there's David Bowers as well. Among several. Oh, look.
And he's selling an old home. Look at, and there you
and
are.
there I am.
See-
That is not good news because that means I didn't sell that spot, Bill.
Oh, okay. Well, you were taking a break that week.
That
maybe
was
just a little
off.
bit. You know, I want to tell you this. This has been said over and over. So many people have been influenced, not just by the Galveston Daily News real estate section, but I'm going to tell you nationwide, even when I grew up in Pennsylvania, people look at the real estate section in any major paper, and it inspires many people to be interested in real estate, and number two, to be part of the real estate profession, not just in Houston, but far and wide.
That's correct, and it's followed by the obits.
Well, okay. There are people. There's that's the beauty of the newspaper. There are
It is.
people love the puzzles, and they like to see who's gone, and there you go.
Who's
right?
coming? There you go.
That's unbelievable. Tell us a little bit more about your newspaper.
We publish 5 days a week. We were 7 days until Ike hit us, and we had to cut back a bit. But also with the newspaper, we publish Coast Monthly Magazine, which is our big baby. It publishes once a month. It has won number
love
one
this.
magazine in the state of Texas by the Texas
my.
Press Association for 4 years. Stewart Title is a big sponsor of our publication, along with Bowers, and probably 40 more realtors are in that one publication every month, and are
Every
in
month
there
this
every
is
month.
out. So how does someone get Coast Monthly?
You can get it by being a subscriber in your newspaper free.
Do you
or
have to
by
live in
subscription.
Galveston?
No, sir. We sell them all over we're in every single state in the country by subscription.
Is there a digital version as well?
Absolutely, and it's free. CoastMonthly.com.
CoastMonthly.com.
That's correct.
Because I can't wait to read them. I love magazines, and here you
Great.
brought them. Thank you.
I did. You're more than welcome.
So that's super awesome. Well, let's tell people how they can reach you, John Nagy, if they want to know anything about real estate in Galveston, anything about the newspaper world. Let's tell them how they can reach you, John.
Absolutely. 409-771-4637 or at john.nagy@galvnews.com.
And the number again is?
409-771-4637.
Man, this is a big, with your picture, that's half. That would cost a
Not
lot
good,
of money.
Bill.
I know, but what would that cost me?
That probably cost
We could
you-
put Real Estate Matters
With your
too.
discount?
Oh, we get a friend discount? All right. Well, tell me after the show.
All righty.
In the meantime, thank you so much. We're going to continue with Galveston as we have. Harriet Dews is going to say a quick word as we meet Dana Phillips. So, Harriet Dews, space. Okay, Harriet, let's tell people, you have been with Stewart Title how many years?
33 years, Bill.
33 years. And by the way, you have a wonderful daughter who's a business development officer. And let's tell people her name because people know her from being on the show.
Jennifer Bradley, and she represents the Lake City, Texas City area.
And she is a super person. There's no doubt about it.
Well, I think so.
Well, there you go. That's coming from her mom. You listen to all her show appearances,
Oh, of
right?
course.
Okay, well, let's tell people who you brought here today. It's not Jennifer, but
I brought somebody important as well. Dana Phillips, I'm going to retire at the end of the year. I've been here 33 years. Dana Phillips has worked with me for 25 years, and you're going to be in capable hands.
well, as we were getting set up for the show, she was already giving some orders. So I know she has the authority power in her. So, Dana, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill.
And also, we were talking, Dana, your name is awesome. We were talking about Galveston and beaches and all that. And you're familiar with one of my favorite places, and it's called Dana Point, California. It's pretty beautiful there,
Yes,
isn't it?
sir, it is.
Almost as beautiful as Galveston.
Almost.
Something like that. Well, let's tell people your role at Stewart Title.
I am the branch manager in Galveston downtown.
And how's that going so far?
It has been awesome. I have my boss has been very supportive. Of course, Harriet's still there to help me. She's there about 2 or 3 days a week to finish training me. So, but everything is really going really well.
And for people that don't know, even if they're here in Houston or if they're listening on the internet, when you say you're working at our Galveston office, downtown Galveston, it's not just another office of Stewart, but it's where our company began
Exactly.
130 years ago in October.
Yes.
That's pretty, and it's a historic building with all kinds of stuff, right?
Yes, it is. It's exactly where Stewart Title began, and we still, on the second floor, we still have offices with their names and stuff on it, which is pretty. It's if you ever want to come down and tour, we can give you a tour. It's really awesome to look at.
It's especially nice if they're closing on a property there with you guys, right?
Yes, we have all the old maps. We have the first deed that's ever been recorded in Galveston County in the Stewart room. And actually, the Morses are going to be coming next month to have lunch with us and have a meeting in that Stewart room called the Morse room.
And there's a lot of Stewart things in Galveston.
Oh, yeah.
Stewart Beach.
Yes. Stewart Beach, Stewart Road, Stewart Mansion.
Well, what's it feel like to work, not just for a company like Stewart, but as part of this certain historic aspect of it? Because we have we're an international company. We'll tell people if they don't already know, traded on the New York Stock Exchange as STC. But you're in a very unique office out of all our offices.
Oh, it's definitely
Pretty
a
cool
conversation piece for sure. So when people come in to close, we're not bored. I'll tell you that, because a lot of people that do come in there, they do ooh and ah about how old the building is and the big ceilings and the big doors and everything. So it is. It's been, and after Ike, they did put it back together like it should be.
That's awesome. Well, let's tell people, Dana Phillips, they're hearing this and they're saying, I think I want to close with Dana right there in historic Galveston Stewart Title. What should they do?
Well, they can reach me at dana.phillips@stewart.com or 409-763-4641. I do have a really great team that we work with. Another closer in our office is Tammy Boggy. And then we have several processors, which Carissa Jones, Paige Carter, and Karen Moore. And then, of course, our great BDO, Maggie Green.
She's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dana, for being with us. thank you, everyone from Galveston. We may hear a little bit more at the end of the show. But thanks again. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm going to Galveston. I'm on my way soon, right after the show.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. Well, John,
Bill?
I'm in the island mood right now. I don't know about you. I got the newspapers here. We have the fine people from Galveston. Oh, my goodness.
Well, I'm going to be in Galveston on September the 14th teaching a class for Maggie.
That's not right around the corner.
It is right around the corner.
So you get to see everybody.
I do.
Super awesome. Well, here you are. Insurance is important, and we talked about the importance in Galveston or anywhere else. You represent Stewart Insurance in a magnificent way, 24/7.
We do, and we've seen some interesting discussions in a couple of our classes, the Two Sides of Water class and the real property insurance essentials for real estate professionals. When we're talking about flood coverage and we get to the point of mentioning that there are some options with private companies or private insurers, that we're seeing more and more of an interest in that area from our clients. And I've been doing a little bit of research in that area just to kind of see what that growth has been, to give folks an idea that there is another option out there beyond the National Flood Insurance Program. And we're seeing more companies get into this private insurance, this flood coverage, because they see some opportunities from a business perspective, that they see that that's an area where they can grow. In 2016, there were roughly 12% of the market was private. So what's that? 88% was the National Flood Insurance Program. 12% was.
I'm not allowed to do any math equations on the show.
And there were only 18 companies that were doing that. And in 2019, federal regulators said that they started allowing mortgage companies to accept private insurance if they followed some specific doctrines, which they do. So by 2022, we've seen that jump from 12% of the market to 32% of the market, and from 18 companies to 77 companies. So, and they're companies that you've heard of, Berkshire Hathaway and Liberty Mutual, Chubb, Allstate, AIG are just a few to name that have gotten into that world. One of the drivers has been the National Flood Insurance Program's Risk Rating 2.0, which we've talked about on the show before, that they've tried to be more equitable in how they rate a property in order to determine what the premium should be. The thought being that across the U.S., with this more equitable rating, that the premiums will be more favorable for more people. And in some cases, that's been the case. For folks that live in the greater Houston area, that has not been, that it's been more expensive because they've gone from just looking at elevation to they look at the cost to renovate a home, to repair a home. So a $2 million home ought to have a higher premium than a $250,000 home. So they take that into consideration. They take into consideration how often it floods and the types of flooding that have taken place. So because of some of those increases and because of the fact that now maybe there's more people in the market for flood coverage, that's one of the drivers that has brought some private companies into the consideration. The other thing that has brought some private companies in is they have some flexibility to be a little different. So, with the National Flood Insurance Program, the liability limit for your structure is $250,000. The liability limit for your contents is $100,000. With a private company, it could be north of $1 million. Some private companies will offer loss of use. So if you have to be out of your home due to a flood while it's being repaired, let's say, that they can help with some of the cost of, if you had to rent a home or rent an apartment to stay. National Flood Insurance Program doesn't offer that. There can be some additional coverage if you have, extensive jewelry collection or collectibles or high-end art. That the National Flood Insurance has a pretty conservative cap, where with some private companies that they've got some broader use. So it provides some additional opportunities for the marketplace, and as a result, it makes a better opportunity for our clients, because now there's an option. It's not just National Flood Insurance Program, but there's actually an option that they consider. And as I said, there's something like 77 companies that are out there now that are offering private flood coverage.
And one of the beauties is, as you refer to other companies, several companies, is that at Stewart Insurance, you're an insurance broker, so you have the ability to help people, not with just one insurance company, but you could find them tailor-make, so to speak, their insurance, their properly insured profile.
Yeah, exactly. So
because you have access.
Yeah, so we, obviously we can work with them on if they wanted their coverage to the National Flood Insurance Program. We currently work with somewhere 10 to 12 companies that provide private flood coverage. So we do have options to look for to find what is the best option for our clients to make sure that they're properly insured.
In fact, I was informed by Sonia at Stewart Insurance that my flood insurance is going to be coming up here soon. It's like every time I turn around, there's another big insurance bill to pay.
Well,
but we got to have it.
We got to have it. I mean, it's unless you can afford to be self-insured, or your risk tolerance is very high. It's worth at least considering, and that is the beauty of working with an advisor and working with a firm that's a broker that has access to a variety of insurance companies, whether it be on the personal line side or the business side, is we can find those best options, because premiums have gone up, and they've gone up across the board. We talked about last week something like 31 states had rate increases approved of 20 to 30%. Texas was in the 30% range. So I mean, we're all paying more. So it's a matter of understanding what's the best value that's out there. Not only it's the premium, the cost of the insurance, but the quality of the coverage.
Awesome. John, what else should we know?
Well, if you do want to be properly insured.
I do.
You do. Well, you are, because you're a client.
I'm raising my hand.
Well, you're
That's
a
right.
client. We appreciate that. So, if it's your personal insurance, your home, wind, auto, flood, motorcycle, vacation property. Sailboat, we can help you with that. For the real estate businesses, if you're a broker or a realtor, independent title and attorney agent, property management company, or a lender, we can help with your business insurance. Errors and omissions, cyber liability, general liability, business owners plans.
That sounds good. How can people reach you?
They can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. They can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com, or they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
I hear there's a Galveston hotline.
There is. It's manned by Maggie, and it's 866-798-2827.
And John has a half a page that he wants to sell you to. You'd look good there, John. With you and Tom Carpentier.
Yeah, I think we need a Bill Knapik ad.
I'll pitch in. How about that?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. As we wind up the show. Okay, so we've talked about Galveston, other points around the city, but one quick word. Here we have Lori Mosier. She is with Stewart Title in Tomball. Hey, Lori.
Hey, how are you?
What's going on? Tomball. It's good to have someone from Tomball.
Yes.
Give us a quick word about your office. You're in there working, doing magnificent work, I'm hearing, right in Tomball. It's a good office, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great office. Yeah, I have been in title for 3 years, and I was looking to go into a new area of title and reached out to the Tomball office since I had had a relationship with them.
And you're working hand in hand with Becky Bohannon. Let's tell people the number there in Tomball.
Yes, you can reach us at 281-357-8277.
That's where they're Galveston, they could bring the transaction, or to Tomball. We're covering a wide scope.
Yep, I'll take care of you.
The number again is
281-357-8277.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us on the show. And here's Jamie Wolf one more time as we wind things up. Mr. Wolf, a final word, and let's tell people how they can reach you again.
Thank you for having me today, Bill. I appreciate it. Everybody keep their heads up. Mortgage interest rates will eventually come down. And for the time being, the home prices are good. So get out there and buy a house.
Buy something, get along with Jamie.
281-543-5488.
Thank you so much. David Bowers is back.
Hey, Bill.
David, man, you have me curious about these historic homes. I want to take a tour down there in Galveston at some point. And there's the picture of your house, isn't it?
You're right.
I recognize that. I think I saw that before. So let's tell people, as we close the show, a final word about Galveston and how can they reach you?
409-763-2800, David at davidbowers.com. Great weekend coming up, long weekend, come down, buy a house.
And in fact, the magazine you're referring to does have a picture of your historic house in it. Again, it's Coast Monthly. And you said the outlook for 2024, people are going to buy. They're going to sell, and people are going to need them. We're on target.
Yes, we are.
We should be economists. Thank you so much, David Bowers. He's back. John Nagy. Final thing, John, I'm going to set up my subscription at some point to this Coast magazine. And then, by the way, as far as the newspaper, the Galveston Daily News, can we look at that online?
Absolutely. galvnews.com. That's galvnews.com. You can see it 7 days a week, 24/7.
And I bet people that are in the real estate world, if they want to place an ad in your magazine or your newspaper, it's okay, right?
It's absolutely okay. Just call me at 409-771-4637. Sell that house in record time.
One more time, the number is?
409-771-4637.
Well, you know, Dana, I feel I have a bond with you just because we both know about Dana Point. But let's say goodbye to everybody. And there they are. They can close in Galveston anytime they want with you, Dana Phillips, and the team.
That is true. Dana.Phillips at Stewart.com, downtown, 222 22nd Street. A lot of twos, so you can't forget the address.
All right. Thank you so much. Final word, Maggie Green is here. Maggie, this is the end of the show. However, here you brought so many people. Did you bring them up in a bus? I was wondering. That's a lot of Galveston.
We were planning on riding together.
Well, but you didn't.
No.
That's okay. Maggie, you are there developing business in a tremendous way in Galveston, not just the historic downtown, but the West End, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
How can people reach you when they want to know about your activities, classes, and all those things? And, of course, you said John Bramlett, he's going to be down there.
Absolutely, yes. He's coming to do a continuing education class for our realtors. 2 sides of water.
He's going to be crossing the bridge.
I know.
Your phone number is?
It's 409-356-3981. 409-356-3981.
And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett and all of us. Yes, all of us in this room and all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We appreciate you listening. Check us out at stewart.com/radio. That's right, stewart.com/radio. You can see and hear all the thousands of guests we had on here today, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, for informative and entertaining information when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate, tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance.